work with all kinds of companies in nearly every industry. Give the team at AmericanEagle.com a call today, 1-877-WEB-NOW-1. Let them help you achieve online results and success. AmericanEagle.com, that number again, 1-877-WEB-NOW and the number 1, 1-877-WEB-NOW-1.
Indeed believes less is more. That's why they have powerful tools to help you source, screen, and hire quality people faster. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
7:38, Team Hochberg traffic center time and Jim.
Westbound 8094, traffic is stop and go Grant to Burr with a crash in the left lane. Inbound Edens at 16 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 15, Kennedy with delays starting at Cumberland. 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 37 from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 30 to the airport. Eisenhower now 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. 36 from Wolf. Outbound 31 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 32 minutes from the Veterans Memorial Tollway to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 18 minutes from 95th to downtown. Westbound Lakeshore Drive has delays from Stevenson to Jackson. Your trip time, Marquette to Monroe, is 14 minutes. Southbound, it's 10 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Rather cloudy today, high 77. 58 degrees officially at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Over the weekend, Kamala bombed the Navy. This is what I mean.
And just ask
her voice.
Any Marine today, would she rather carry 20 pounds of batteries or a rolled up solar panel? And I am positive she will tell you a solar panel, and so would he.
Please laugh. Anybody? Can somebody laugh? It's supposed to be a funny. See, she included the genders, different genders there, and then the green deal, with the battery or the solar panel. See what she did there?
I picked up on that. It was almost imperceptible.
Yes.
Like being beaten over the head with batteries.
That was a horrible commencement speech, by the way. Just awful.
That's Kamala Harris insulting the Navy and then politely laughing along out of respect for the office. The Biden administration also announcing canceling oil leases in the Arctic while we're importing oil from Iran, the lead sponsor of terrorism in the world. It's interesting. And also, just on the matter of green energy, good piece by Issues, or over at Issues and Insights, on those electric vehicles that are au courant.
Mm-hmm.
The birthplace of most electric cars is the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country where the diamond trade has helped finance civil war. The reports in the local news there say slave labor is feeding big tech's quest for cobalt, an element used in the batteries that drive the electric vehicles. So slave labor is not just for Nike or Kathleen Lee Gifford anymore. Our children are dying like dogs, a Congolese mother whose son and cousin died while working in Congo's cobalt mine said. She and others have filed a lawsuit in U.S. federal court that insists companies are simply turning a blind eye to the egregious abuses that include children killed in tunnel collapses or losing limbs or suffering from horrific injuries caused by mining accidents in a country that contains, according to the UN, nearly 50% of the world's cobalt reserves. So there, again, we have it. You're going to have to, kill a few people, enslave a few people, otherwise create environmental degradation, but all in making sure that we get those Teslas on the roads for the rich woke in this country. That's Bidenomics for you. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again by Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, economist, and Trumponomics author. Steve?
Good morning, guys. By the
Morning.
way, I have another one for you.
What?
So, have you guys ever heard of the prairie chicken?
The what? The Perry chicken?
The
Prairie?
prairie chicken, yes.
Yes.
It's actually called the lesser prairie chicken. I think that's an offensive term to call it lesser, but it's called the lesser prairie chicken. And when I was at the Wall Street Journal, like 12 years ago, I wrote about this because the left has been trying to put this on this chicken, because we're running out of chickens in this country, on the endangered species list. And why that matters is because there are potentially hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres that would be set aside if the prairie chicken is designated as endangered. By the way, we have more prairie chicken today than we did 10 years ago, so it's not as if we're running out of them. But Biden, this last week, has asked the Interior Department to put the prairie chicken on the endangered species list. Now, why does that matter?
Right.
Why should anybody? What's it? What?
No, I said why? What's the problem?
Oh, okay. Because no, here's why. Guess what? The prairie chicken is in states like Texas and Oklahoma, and guess what? It's near oil wells, and so the Permian Basin is the largest oil well in probably the world, maybe outside of Saudi Arabia. Massive amounts of oil that we get every day comes from the Permian Basin. This will shut down hundreds of thousands of acres that could be used for drilling oil and gas, and it is going to further diminish. So you mentioned we're not going to drill anymore in Alaska, right?
Right.
Plus, we're going to now shut down some of the drills in the Permian Basin in Texas. And by the way, this has nothing to do with the prairie chicken. This is because the left hates oil and gas, and they're finding any excuse to disable these wells. And I'm still so angry to this day during that famous debate between Biden and Trump, when Trump turned right and looked Biden right in the eyes and said, "You want to shut down fracking?" And I said, "No, I don't. I'm in favor of that." Of course, everything they're doing is shutting down oil and gas. And this, by the way, just to connect the dots here, there is a reason that the price of gasoline at the pump has gone from $2.10 a gallon to $3.10 a gallon. And it's because when you reduce the supply of something, you increase the price.
Well, right, and I guess we're not going to be able to rely on our friends, the Iranians, to make up the difference. Is that the concern?
Well, I know that Iran and Venezuela and Saudi Arabia and OPEC countries, they're very reliable. I mean, we can count on them from our oil and gas. I mean, look, you mentioned electric cars. Folks, I mean, let's be honest about this. 1.5% of the cars on the road today are electric vehicles. 1.5%. Even if you were to start converting totally to electric vehicles, it would take at least 20 years, probably closer to 30 years to even get, half of those cars off of the road. And so you're talking about, even 20 years from now, still relying at least 60% on oil and gas to fuel our cars. We're going to use oil and gas. It's just a question of whether we get it from Saudi Arabia and Russia, or whether we get it from and Iran, or whether we get it from Oklahoma, Texas, and Alaska.
But I thought we wanted to be independent, not, depend on foreign oil. But according to Reuters, over 1 million barrels in March came from Iran.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see, the problem, Amy, is you're one president behind. Yes, Donald Trump did want to make America. He didn't want to make America energy independent. I used to talk to him. He said, "I want to make America energy dominant," and we were becoming energy dominant. Now we're shutting it down. But we will be the leader in solar panels. That's the other thing. The solar panels are made in China, right? And guess what? The wind turbines are made in France and Spain.
Yeah,
It makes great sense.
We're going to have a lot of countries we're going to have a lot of enemies we need to rely on, and a lot of countries we're going to have to rape and pillage in order to make the green dream possible. Lithium from Chile, it's never ending.
Yeah, well, it's a terrible day when we have to depend on France for our energy.
Don't rely on the French, yes.
You were talking about, in part, you're talking getting to the point about supply chains, too, and with the lethargic getting back to work culture that we have because of, in large measure, because of the enhanced benefits. That's not me saying it. That's Obama's economist, Jason Furman, saying it. You're talking about, I want to put this in the context of inflation. So the goodies don't start running out until the first week of September, so after Labor Day. and so you're going to have pent up demand and not the supply to meet it going into the fourth quarter of this year. I mean, um, the coming back online that was supposed to be a mitigating event with respect to inflation, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen, at least not to the extent that it was argued by, people like Jay Powell.
Yeah. Hard to know where we're going with this. There's no question that inflation is really rearing its ugly head right now. I mean, and I think we're going to get another lousy report on inflation for the month of May and June. So, it's there's no question. I mean, across the board, I tried to buy some airline tickets this weekend to go away this summer for my family, and I couldn't believe how expensive tickets are. So everything's getting more expensive, and Jay Powell keeps running around saying that we don't see any inflation. I mean, I'm like, Jay, get out.
Well, does he go grocery shopping? I mean, what's wrong with him? Everything's more expensive. Clothes, everything.
Yeah.
And the airlines, those prices have gone up. It feels like they've gone up 40%.
Well, that's right, and then lumber prices, and try to get a construction crew. So this is an inflationary environment. I mean, I still think there's time for the Fed to just slam on the brakes here. But here's the other problem, Dan and Amy, which is the budget. The budget that just came out, which is a laughable budget, $6 trillion, $20 trillion in new debt over the next decade, which would almost double our debt, and $2.5 trillion of new taxes. And by the way, it was very funny. I watched. I dug up this New York Times headline from back about 3 years ago when Trump came out with his budget, and the New York Times headline was, Trump budget to cause the debt to skyrocket. And then I look at the headline on the New York Times this Saturday on the Biden budget, which, by the way, doubles the national debt. And you know what that headline was? Biden budget to invest in America.
Right. Yeah, of course. Well, Bloomberg was at least a little bit more honest.
They got it. They got it.
Wealth redistribution, not growth. That's the aim, and that's the budget, and that's the tax policy, including the proposed retroactivity on the capital gains increase.
Yeah, 43% capital gains tax that'll start, I think April 1st or April 31st. And look, I mean, this country is depending on like two senators to save us from this, and that's probably Joe Manchin and Senator Sinema in Arizona, because I don't think we can count on either of your two Democratic senators in Illinois to show any fiscal sanity. But this is a dangerous moment. This is a president who has completely lost his just craziness. And I don't know who's in charge over there in the White House. I don't know. I don't know if it's Susan Rice or the chief of staff, but it's like the left has just infiltrated every single agency of the deep state, and they're coming up with these crazy things. Like Prairie chicken, stop drilling in Alaska. We're gonna give everybody more money for being unemployed than working. All these things, and they're piling up. I can't think of 2 or 3 smart things Biden has done on the economy in his first 4 months, but I could probably mention 100 stupid things they've done.
What is McConnell and the Republicans play with the quote-unquote infrastructure bill? They've, the counter proposal, and they're $1.5 trillion apart. Is that just to look reasonable with the purpose of killing it, or are they really trying to reach a deal?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, my advice to Republicans and Democrats: just stop doing what you're doing. We don't need $2 trillion. We started this conversation talking about inflation. You want to see inflation go through the roof, Dan and Amy? Pass another $2 trillion debt bill. I mean, how are we going to pay for this with dollar devaluation? Right? We're gonna print more money to pay for all this spending, and that will cause inflation. And I said it last week on your show. I'll say it again. The people are hurt the most by $1 a gallon increase in gasoline, and the people who are feeling the effects of the higher food prices and higher lumber prices, higher airline. I mean, do you think Tom Steyer or Bill Gates cares about whether inflation goes up to 4 or 5 or 6%? No, of course they don't. But for people living on a fixed income, and by the way, it is a tax, folks. Inflation is a tax on the money you earn. And Biden said he wasn't going to tax anybody who makes less than $400,000. It's a bold-faced lie, because we're all feeling the effects in the pocketbook of this inflation. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that the economy flies high. I do think we're going to see a good summer as we will reopen. But God, I mean, the policy stuff, I can't believe this. And by the way, I've been dying to ask you guys this. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Rocky Road.
You saw the press, right? You know what I'm referring to. That press conference where the reporters, Mr. President, what's
Yes.
your
Favorite
favorite ice cream?
Yes.
Can you imagine the press
hard-hitting.
asking Donald Trump that?
Steve Moore, always offering good advice to the political class. Don't just do something, stand there. I like that advice. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, economist, Trumponomics author. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
And I like Rocky Road, too. Bye.
Bye. Have a great week. And Stephen Moore joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of You Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank.